Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. I hope you had a good weekend. We certainly had a busy weekend around our household. The kids are now fast asleep, which is good. So that means it is region weather time, region weather live time. We'll talk about a couple of things that we've got going on this week. We have one day of serious heat. If you remember last week, we were kind of hinting at the fact we were going to get hot this week. Models have backed off a little bit on the longevity of this heat. There's kind of a heat saving front that's going to move through. I guess you can say it that way, where the heat's not going to be far off, but I'm talking like mid and upper 90s. But it does look like we're not going to stick around with that too long with some thunderstorms that'll save us. So we'll highlight when that is. We'll talk about the latest drought, and we'll also take you through the next 10 days as we always do on this Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. Love that music. How's everybody doing? How is your summer like weekend? Fair season's still in full swing. Obviously, the Porter County Fair wrapping down here yesterday. What a week it was for the fairs. Jasper County as well. Just a great week. I'm sure a lot of you got out and got that good old summertime feeling. Hopefully you had, cotton candy and all sorts of taffy and all the good things at the frog legs at the fairs. I hope you had a good time with the kids if you have kids and got to explore and get out and enjoy what summer brings here in Northwest Indiana, which is lovely weather and lovely fair season. I always love the Porter County Fair. We do live shots from there all the time. Anyway, happy Sunday night to you, everybody. Abigail, good evening to you. JB, hello to you. Deshaun, hi. Mark, hi. JK, hello. Jeff, thanks for joining us. Sandy, Sal, and Amy, I am keeping that intro. The cornier we can get, the better. You know how we do around here. Want to thank our sponsors briefly here because they keep the show for free. What a wonderful relationship we have with both Griegers and Tiger Plumbing. Please support them if you can, you guys. They do a lot for us in terms of getting our subscription fees paid for, all that good stuff, because there are some costs associated with this. I don't need to drag you into that because what this is about is you and getting you prepared for the week ahead. We'll certainly do that. So if you get a chance, and if you need a plumber, I know it's not often, but tigerplumbing.net is the place to go. They come out for free. So many of you have used them. I don't need to sell them to you because they sell themselves. They're just amazing group of folks that'll come out and check out anything you need plumbing wise. In Grieger's Chrysler Job Jeep Ram in the Valparaiso area. They've been around since 1960s. If you haven't known that, they are a staple in the Valparaiso area and all across Northwest Indiana. They've got new Jeeps on the line, including the new Wagoneer. Go check them out. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. I can't talk tonight. It's great. You can tell I've had a nice weekend away from TV because I forgot how to talk. All right, here we go. This is where I want to start tonight is with the drought. Remember, we had all the rain the previous week, and our drought monitor comes out on Thursday. So this drought monitor factored in all that rain we have. And we are now out of drought across Northwest Indiana and the region. However, you get a little bit further south, down towards Indianapolis, Lafayette, we're dealing with moderate drought still. So they could use the rain there. That kind of stretches back into Illinois. But in terms of our region weather coverage area, which is areas of Lake Porter, LaPorte, Stark, Newton, Jasper counties, we are drought free as of now. All that rain really put a dent in our deficit. So we still have little deficits in places. We could use more rainfall, right? We want to get a little surplus this time of year because we can dry out so quickly. But I wanted to let you know that because that is some great news. Okay, the big picture pattern across the country. Here's what we're dealing with now. We have a couple waves of energy down towards the south. You can see this is over the last 36, 48 hours or so. All that flooding that they had in St. Louis and Tennessee, they had flooding in Kentucky as well, was from the same frontal boundary that's kind of laid out kind of like this where my mouse cursor is. And it's just been repeated days of thunderstorms. And some of these thunderstorms putting down some seriously heavy rain as they do in the summertime. And when you get a boundary or a stationary boundary that goes over the same area and isn't moving, that's problematic. And that's what we had down towards the south. It was away from us, but St. Louis had that night where they got anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of rain overnight. I mean, that's a lot, right? Areas of Kentucky saw much the same problem. They had anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of rain overnight. They get the hills and hollers over there, so a lot of that flows down. But that boundary is not affecting us. That's kind of sinking down towards the south and eventually moving out towards the east. What we're going to watch, and this brings us some storms tomorrow morning, actually overnight tomorrow morning, is the system off towards the north. You can see up towards Minnesota. when you see the greens and the bright colors, this is infrared, so it's indicating high cloud tops. They get colder as they get up, the cloud tops do. And so when you get some of these bright reds, it indicates that you have really tall cumulonimbus growth and real high clouds. So you can see this little swirl off towards the north areas of Minnesota. It's kicking off some storms here this evening with the heating of the day. It's a potent little system. It's not going to bring widespread storms tonight and tomorrow morning, but they'll be scattered around, and we're definitely going to have something on radar tomorrow morning. This is a frontal boundary that'll swing through. Our storm chances are early tomorrow through about the lunchtime hour. Then the system's out of here, and we're going to turn the winds back around, and it's going to become a little bit more comfortable again. But in terms of tonight, out ahead of that, we're kind of building the humidity. So you felt that humidity kind of creep up. It's really not bad. Our dew point, as of right now in Valparaiso, is 59, which that's comfortable. It's a little bit humid, but it's not bad. The dew point tonight's going to go up into the 60s to near 70. So tomorrow morning, as you're getting out to work or whatever you have planned tomorrow, it's going to feel humid out the door tomorrow morning. It's going to feel a lot thicker. That's going to be that frontal boundary moving in. Again, we could trigger a couple showers and thunderstorms, not expecting any severe, but we could have some good downpours as that front moves through. Front should move through by noon or 1, and then you'll notice a wind shift. We'll have a south wind in the morning, and then by afternoon, it'll switch to the northwest. So that dew point or that comfort meter will start to come back down, and it'll be a little bit more comfortable tomorrow evening. We'll go back to sunshine. We'll stay in the sunshine with a comfortable day on Tuesday. And then we talk some pretty decent heat around here on Wednesday. This is how this frontal system will likely evolve on radar. This is one model's take. And you can see how overnight tonight, this is tonight, we get storms firing up north woods of Wisconsin out towards Minneapolis, St. Paul. Eventually, all that kind of sinks south. This is 2, 3 o'clock in the morning here. And you notice we've got storms in northern Illinois. This is 4, 5, 6. So this is your morning rush hour. We'll likely have some activity on radar. Some good downpours in spots. Other areas may end up dry from this. You know how it goes. And then that frontal system's out of here. Right there is where the passage of the front is. Just after the midday hour, the winds shift. Everything pushes out towards Ohio. Maybe a shower or two coming off the lake tomorrow night. Overnight, there's some cooler air aloft. We're actually, I know we're starting August here, right? But we can tend to get some lake effect events. I'm not talking snow. But when you get these little pools of cooler air aloft up over the lake water temperature is pretty warm this time of year. And so we can trigger a couple showers whenever you get cool air. We saw that over the weekend with that shower down in the Porter County area with that wind off the lake. Gosh, was that Thursday? It's Thursday or Friday. I posted about it. But anyway, that's it. And then we go quiet on Tuesday. Okay, so what does the future have and hold after that? Once we get beyond Tuesday, we're talking that big ridge of heat out towards the Plain States. All that heat has been trying to make it into the area. So it hasn't really quite made it in the last couple of weeks, right? They've been scorching down in Texas, Oklahoma, Central Plains. All that heat kind of went out towards the western U.S. as well. That is now on the move out towards the east. So the heat's going to try to make it in here. And what we're going to have is kind of a heat-saving front, I guess I'm going to call it. Here it is. This is our Monday system. You can see as this goes by. This is the latest Euro model. So that goes by. Tuesday, we're fine. It does try to fire up some big storms, like those big complexes of storms. The Euro does. This is Tuesday afternoon in Iowa and Illinois. That's on the border of that heat out in the Plain States, and the more comfortable air will settle into Tuesday. It'll still be well into the 80s, but the humidity won't be quite as bad. That's right on that boundary, though. So could we squeak out a storm Tuesday? I think it's going to stay southwest. Most of the models agree with that, but we may have some clouds off of that. Just keep that in mind. So then the heat gets here on Wednesday. That frontal boundary, the warm front lifts through here, should have a quiet passage with that. And then Wednesday, we're in the heat. We're probably talking, depending on where the storms are and how much cloud cover we get, we're at least talking mid-90s on Wednesday. So it's going to be a hot day. It's going to be humid as well. Some of the models like to take us 97, 98. There's a couple triple-digit readings coming in from down near St. Louis. I wouldn't quite go that high, and the reason why is we're going to have some kind of thunderstorm activity on radar, whether it be to the north, like the Euro's saying here, or whether it be to the west. We're likely to get some clouds off of that, which I think would hinder us from hitting a 98, 99 on Wednesday. Bottom line, still hot on Wednesday. Clouds will increase throughout the day. This is our next chance of storms, and some of these could be on the strong side Wednesday. You notice the Euro model painting a pretty definitive frontal boundary that comes through here late in the day Wednesday. So Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night. If your kids have sports practice, if you're heading out to dinner Wednesday, celebrate something, we will likely be encountering some kind of thunderstorm activity Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night. Front heads by. Thursday, maybe some residual showers in the morning, and then this thing's out of here. The front sags down to the south. Depends on how quickly that front can clear. We could still have some storms around here if that front slows on Thursday, but I think the biggest storm chance, the severe storm chance, would be anytime Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and then Wednesday night. I think our severe threat should end on Thursday, whether we have showers or not. And then it looks like we clear things out for Friday, Saturday. Saturday's interesting. Models painting all sorts of, you see all the green on the map. That's just like summertime thunderstorm activity that this fires up. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I have like pollen going on my throat and I don't have any water. I have Method Purpose Cleaner and I'm not about to drink that. Although if this continues, let me go get water real quick. This is a first. I got to get water. Something's dripping on my, well, maybe it's fine now. Hold on. Okay. Anyway, we spent all evening outside with the kids. It was crazy. Yeah, something's like going down there. Anyway, that's never happened on TV or on a Region Weather Live, so excuse me for that. But you can see on the next week, we're fine. Everything looks okay for now. Last thing I want to go over briefly, and then we'll answer your questions before I cough up a hairball. I want to go over temperatures real quick just to kind of cover what the models are saying in terms of how warm we get over the next couple days. And then we'll leave it to you for whatever you guys want to know weather-wise. But tomorrow we're looking at probably around 85, 86 in terms of high temperatures. You can see here's the modeling here. I don't know if you can see those numbers. I hope you can. But, you know, mid 80s here. Heat's still down to the south. We get that little reprieve after that front goes by. This is Tuesday afternoon. You see we're still in the mid 80s, but there's some cooler pockets around. I think back. Here's Wednesday. Look at that. This is the Euro saying, oh, 97, 98, triple digits back in here. That's our hot day on Wednesday. Keep in mind, storm chances are going to, you know, if we get a storm in here midday, that'll prevent us from hitting, you know, upper 90s, but it does look hot. And then Thursday, here's our little break as the heat pushes south and the heat pushes back towards the west. So we're back into the 70s. And then for the weekend, we're back into the 80s. Nothing crazy. It looks like the bulk of the heat's going to be back towards Kansas, where it has been all summer, but we're into the 80s Saturday, and then Sunday still into the 80s. So it doesn't look like any huge heat waves after that. And then beyond that, I mean, gosh, August was looking so hot a week ago. It looked like we were going to have days of 90s. And beyond that, it doesn't look that hot. It looks like we have another northwest air mass which comes in. So, you know, we may be getting out of this. July really hasn't been that hot, and we're going to start August with one hot day here on Wednesday. But after that, boy, I don't see any, you know, triple digit heat or 90s or anything like that. So we're in good shape. Okay, let's answer your question, shall we? Let's see what we've got here. Danielle, thank you. I am doing well, except for the whatever's dripping on my throat right now. Everything's great. Thank you very much. Diane says it was beautiful in Whiting for Pierogi Fest, one of my favorite events. Wonderful weather weekend. It was beautiful for everything we had going on. I'm glad you enjoyed Pierogi Fest, though. Boy, you can never get too many pierogies. There's a lot of things you can eat too much of, but pierogies aren't one of them, for sure. Yep, John, Lake County Fair kicking off. We're looking okay as of right now. We'll have to keep an eye on that midweek system for sure. But overall, you know, whenever fair season comes around, there tends to be more rainy days than not. At least that's what I've noticed. Especially the Porter County Fair in the past has had we've had some real good gully washers around. Lake County Fair, no exception as well. But as of right now, we're looking at more dry days than not. So that's a good trend, and hopefully we'll keep that going. But this time of year, I mean, you saw that threat later on this week where you have the showers and thunderstorms that kind of bubble up just randomly, not associated with a front or anything like that. We haven't really gotten in that pattern yet. We may get into that later this week. We'll see how long it holds. Yeah, Mike, and I hope I answered that question as we went through it. But heat-wise, boy, if we look at the modeling last week, it looked like we were going to have several days of mid and upper 90s, which, you know, the models last week, I think last Sunday night, were showing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then maybe into the weekend, well into the 90s. And as we look this week, there's little finer details like, you know, the storms that come through Wednesday that knock those 90s back for a couple days, more storms perhaps, you know, as we get into the weekend with that scattered activity. So, you know, the models have backed off on the heat. It's still going to be hot Wednesday, but in terms of long term over the next 10 days or so, There's overall not that many hot days around, so we're not doing too bad. Aaron's making fun of me. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. Deshaun says, question, August in general, usually a hot time for Northwest Indiana vicinity, sometimes stormy. Yeah, for sure, Deshaun. They call these the dog days of summer, late July and early August. It's typically when you don't have a lot of movement in the atmosphere. Jet stream's still lodged up in Canada. That's what drives all the weather systems. So you typically have a pretty stagnant air mass, and you typically just have a hot day after hot day. Just depends on the pattern, depends on the year. But as of right now, I mean, these typically are our hottest days of the year. Our average highs are starting to come down as we've, lost that sun angle. Back late June is when we started to lose that direct sun. The sun's getting, lower and lower in the sky in terms of angle. But these are typically the hottest days because that heat lags behind. But, I'm not really seeing it this week. There's some hot days for sure. We're going to be warm, but overall, we could be talking upper 90s, 100 degrees around here. Not all the time, but it's certainly possible this time of year, and I don't see it for sure. Kristen had a good time at the Jasper County Fair. Absolutely. Very good. Mike, I will. I'm as soon as I head upstairs, I'm taking care of whatever situation's going on. I don't know if it's pollen or what. We've got clean air down here too. It's not like, I'm in a sewage tank or anything like that. Yeah, Danielle, it is for sure. Oh, Deshaun, yeah, you got to get a pierogi, buddy. Yeah, they're amazing. You might get a little tired from the carbs after that. Depends on what you have in them, for sure. There it goes again. Anyway, I don't see any other questions. Anyone else want to know anything? Listen, I was just thinking about this. I'm so happy to bring you summer forecasts. Like, I don't want to say it's easier, but this isn't bad, right? We're forecasting temperatures and storm chances, and our storm chance this week's on Wednesday. We'll have to keep an eye on those. Some of them could be on the strong side, right? Because we've got a lot of heat and humidity around. But I was just thinking today, I'm like, we're really not, and I don't want to say this, but we're really not that far off from, like winter season around here. And that's when things get tricky. And that's when things get really interesting as a meteorologist. When we're trying to predict how many snowflakes are going to fall and add up and stuff like that. So please appreciate this weather, because I know I do. I really like days like this when, where it's a temperature story and it's a storm story, and that's pretty much it. But boy, it's going to get interesting around here, as it always does come fall and winter, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I saw a couple questions here. Mike just joined. That's fine. Mike, we'll get your question in there. We'll recap the storm chances. Jonathan's asking about Couts. We got that for you as well. Kevin's got his normal sports question. Do you think the Bears will win over 6 games? Kevin, I would put the over-under at 6. So that's a really tough question. You picked the right number to ask me. If you would have said over 5, I probably would say yes. But now that you're saying over 6, I don't know if I can guarantee that this year, Kevin. What do you think? I never get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the Bears, Kevin? So for Mike and Jonathan, in terms of storm chances, we've got really two rounds of storms this week. The first one's going to move in tomorrow morning. It's just going to be scattered tomorrow morning, so with the frontal boundary that moves through. So I don't think everyone gets rain, but some of you could get some good rain, because we're going to have some pretty decent pops on radar. This arrives for morning rush hour. It'll probably last. Our chances will last, depending on how it develops tonight, through about the noon hour. We should start to clear things out by afternoon. We'll go back to sunshine. We'll have more of a refreshing breeze. When you guys wake up tomorrow, we're dealing with humidity. So it's going to feel thick outside, a lot more than tonight. That humidity will go back down by tomorrow evening. So Monday evening's looking pretty nice. And Tuesday's looking kind of like a low humidity day. It's going to be hot, though. We'll make well into the 80s. Sunshine on Tuesday nights. Next chance of rain beyond that arrives on Wednesday. This is going to be a little bit more of a potent front, and it's going to be cutting into some real thick heat and humidity. This is some of the record heat we've got out west. That same dome of air mass is coming our way. So Wednesday, we have the potential to reach mid and upper 90s. It's going to be hot and humid. We'll have heat indices probably pushing 100 degrees. By afternoon, we'll see storms develop sometime in the afternoon, maybe even the evening, depends on the timing of that. Some of those storms Wednesday afternoon evening could be severe. So we'll keep our eye on that. The good news is we have another Region Weather Live scheduled on Wednesday. So if I have to make that a little bit earlier, I certainly will, due to storms. But we do have a severe threat on Wednesday. Things kind of quiet down as we get on into Thursday. And we'll try to heat back up this weekend. Right now it looks like isolated storm chances this weekend. It's more of a summertime pattern rather than a front. But the 2 days we're watching again tomorrow morning, and then more so the Wednesday. That Wednesday event is one we'll be watching for sure. Kevin says owner needs to sell the team and build a dome in Arlington Heights. I like that. Up by the IKEA, that'd be perfect. Jay, yeah, so dew point, let me take you through that. I kind of briefly said it verbally, but I'll just show you on the map form. I hope I have enough bandwidth here. The longer I stream, the longer I don't know, it just gets more herky jerky over here. Mike, we have high humidity. Jay, I'll take you through dew points. Mike, we have high humidity because we get air out of the Gulf of Mexico. These are the dew points. That's next week. I was like, that is not the dew point right now. You notice some of the numbers. These are the dew points predicted next Sunday. And notice how we've got the most humid air in the entire country. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and I hope none of you took me literally when I said the corn sweats. Corn doesn't actually sweat. There's evapotranspiration that comes off of corn. But the large crop in the plains from especially Iowa, it's our biggest corn state in the U.S., but Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, even southern Minnesota and Wisconsin, we have a lot of crops, right? There's a lot of farmers, there's a lot of corn crops, soybeans, stuff like that. All of that plant life has evapotranspiration. There's water and humidity that comes off of the crops, all right? That tends to make the Midwest some of the most humid air in the entire country. We're more humid than Florida and the Southeast at times. It depends on the wind currents, which is really interesting. But that's one of the reasons why we're so humid, because there's crops that are literally putting moisture in the atmosphere. The other reason is this time of the year, the Gulf of Mexico is wide open. We typically have a south wind that comes out of the Gulf. So the Gulf holds a lot of water, right? And that tends to flow right up Mississippi River Valley, comes up into the upper Midwest, the Ohio Valley. So we get a lot of air out of the Gulf this time of year. And on top of that, we have a lot of foliage. If you look at dew points or how muggy it feels, right? If you look at how much moisture is in the air in the spring before the leaves are out on trees, it's lower. In the fall, after the trees lose all their leaves, the dew points are typically lower. You don't have those real thick, humid days because the trees and the plant life, that also puts out moisture. There's evaporation off of those, and that creates humidity as well. So the plant life around us does a lot for that. And that's oftentimes why it's more humid in the summertime, as well as that flow out of the Gulf as well. So I hope that helps. All right, so here are your dew points, Jay, in terms of this week. So we're actually dry right now. Our dew point's 59. As we go through time tonight, it's going to become more humid. This is tomorrow morning when you wake up. When you have dew points that are up near 70, that's that muggy tropical air. So that's when you wake up tomorrow. Cold front goes by. We turn a little bit more comfortable tomorrow evening. This is Monday evening. Not as comfortable as we have been over the weekend, though. That was kind of a rare air mass. Humidity will build back out ahead of that next front. So here's Tuesday. It's just moderately humid, not too bad. And then that humidity really pools out ahead of this front. All the moisture kind of collects. So here's Wednesday. Dew points well into the 70s. That'll be our most humid day of the week. There's our storm chance as well as that front comes in. So here's Wednesday night. Notice the thick humidity around here. And then Thursday, we turn a little bit more comfortable later in the day. Here's Friday. We get a little bit comfortable air in here. The humidity never really goes away, but we get these little doses of more comfortable air. And then it all builds back this weekend. You can see we're back up in the 70s this weekend. So I hope that helps. Mark says, no corn sweat. It's all from broccoli. Or maybe you meant trees. It looks like a broccoli. Oh, awesome, Amanda. Yeah, Amanda, if you sell your honey on here, I'll give you free advertisement. Go ahead and let everyone know where they can get some honey. Her bees make local Northwest Indiana honey. Just fantastic stuff. Kevin, we covered that at the beginning of the show. There was a stalled out frontal boundary down in Kentucky. It's the same thing that caused all the rain in St. Louis. It's just a stalled front, and what you get along the frontal boundary is lift, and so you have periodic storms that develop. They just had too many rounds of storms that just stayed in the same spot for both St. Louis and for those areas in Kentucky that saw the flooding. Just amazing amounts of rain. It is broccoli, says Mark. Great. Mike, glad that helped for sure. Jay, you're welcome. Absolutely, buddy. All right, eat your broccoli, everybody. Okay, have a good night. Listen, we're starting the work week, right? Let's get through it. We got this. We've got one hot day on Wednesday to get through, 2 warm days, Monday, Tuesday. We'll keep our eye on those storm chances for you, but please squeeze out as much of summer as you can here as we kind of get into the month of August, always a transitional month for everything. But please enjoy your week. We'll talk again on Wednesday. We'll have some posts until then. Again, next thing on my radar, no pun intended, is the storm chance on Wednesday. Okay, so we'll keep you updated on that. All right, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon, okay?